Now let's begin the conversation. A profound quote by MFK Fisher states, and I quote, "One cannot think well, love well, sleep well if one has not dined well." End of quote. The statement reflects the joy that comes with recent reports. The rice price is crashing in markets across Nigeria. According to reports, at some markets in Lagos, a 50-kilogram bag of rice now sells for between 55,000 naira and 70,000 naira, depending on the brand. Traders and consumers who spoke confirmed that the price of this staple food has seen a notable decline. They explained that both local and foreign rice varieties have experienced a significant drop in price, reversing the sharp increase recorded earlier in the year. All right, gentlemen, no doubt this is good news, especially for households. But I'm curious, what do you think is responsible for this continuous drop in prices?
Well, normally in Econs 101, they will tell us it's basically market forces.
Okay.
There are sometimes when supply outstrips demand, prices will go down. And it's also unusual for Nigeria because Nigeria is the only country where the law does not apply. Things that go up normally do not come down. They will find a way to stay within the range of whatever they've grown into. So within that context, I must say this is good news. Don't forget there was a time we were buying a bag of rice for less than 30,000 naira. But those days are gone. And based on the strength of the naira, maybe that will never come back. So to celebrate this amount means that we've now agreed that the optimal price you can pay for a bag of rice is between 50,000 and 70,000, which of course makes sense. Compared to the fact that they've increased salary across the board in most parts of Nigeria, basically to accommodate that reality. So to me, it's always good news when prices fall, especially when it has to do with foodstuff. Because whether you like it or not, this is Nigeria's #1 staple.
Exactly.
Whether we like it or not. As an Ibadan man, of course, I have my own preferences. But you and I know that within the context of the general Nigerian reality, rice, as of today, is the staple for almost every household.
Now, you talked about economics, when supply, outstrips demand. But is this price drop purely a result of record harvest? Or do you think government's intervention in agriculture is starting to, yield results?
Clearly, it's a combination of everything, including what GKB mentioned. The fact that, what every Nigerians want to hear is that what's the price of food in the market?
Sure.
They're sick and tired of the analysis and all the econometrics that we are giving them. They just want to hear that things have gone down. However, it's part of our job to also mention the factors responsible. So when we remember the days of where we bought a bag of rice for 8,000, for 22,000, for 30,000, like he mentioned, the political class will always use that. The rice has moved from so-so-so to so-so-so-so, forgetting that at that time, the local manufacturers were cut out, forgetting that the borders were open to everybody to bring in all this foreign rice. So nobody wants to mention all these factors. So it appears that these factors are back and they are playing up. So when we say that it is not really about one leader hates you, people think we are playing politics. So it is a case of the borders have been a bit loose. We are seeing more rice coming in. And we are seeing local manufacturers screaming now. And Nigerians are saying, hey, excuse me, this is good news for us. We don't care how this price crashed. Because even the local rice, I bought the local rice for 59,000 naira. Okay. And in fact, I had to put it on Facebook because sometimes I like to celebrate the good things. This has been me all the while. So for me, that is a factor. Then the harvest that we are into is also a factor. But our traders hardly do this before. They would still maintain that price. In fact, when you are going into December, that's when we see things being more expensive.
Some would even hoard.
So for me, I think in the final analysis, we should celebrate this. we should ask for further crash. The tomatoes now, I go to the market at least maybe once in 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and I see that even the price of tomatoes have dropped. A lot of things have dropped, and we should not ignore it.
Do you feel
Let's
that
remain positive.
this price drop could be temporary? Or
So that's why I am not much of a what do you call them? Is it futurist now when it comes to economics? But for all I care, I think government is involved, and if government is involved, it's likely to be sustained.
now the other side of this, Nigerian farmers, they're counting their losses. That as this price is dropping,
Did they count their gains for us?
As this price is dropping, it is affected now. But how best do you think the government should handle this dilemma?
Well, if you go into a venture, it's basically for profits. And normally in most countries, they have what they call the markup. Markup does not happen in Nigeria, as you know, based on the revelations by one of these people that went to China. So Nigeria is one of the few countries where markup are not regulated. Because normally, for most part of the country, but because it's free entry and free exit. Farmers will 1 year smile to the bank, and another year, maybe there's challenges. Now, I don't know about Nigeria, but in some countries, there's a guaranteed price that you can sell your produce. And I know during the whole years, they have it in Western Nigeria. That's why the Western Nigeria Produce Board. Basically, you are guaranteed to sell at X amounts. If the price will drop beyond that threshold, government will pay the difference.
That's true.
Basically, to keep the price at an affordable
rate.
I don't know whether it's part of the system we're operating now, because I understand purely a capitalistic system where everybody can come in and go. So once the farmers are not going to tell us, on the bumper years, how much they made, they should also not bother us with how much they are losing now.
Because
but if that is on ground, the one I mentioned, then they have no reason to complain.
Because the consumers want the price they want a drop in price, and the farmers also need profits as well. So they need to, the government needs to find a way to balance.
And that's what I just said. Throughout history, and this for the last 100 years, whether in the US or elsewhere, governments have the duty to ensure that the cost does not drive away the farmers, but again does not alienate the consumers. So there will always be a middle ground where government will come in.
Because we consumers are more.
No.
And our interest counts. You know, I recall...
A well-fed populace is a contented populace.
I recall someone using this terminology that it is only in Nigeria that a bag of rice is higher than minimum wage. You know, all those...
All right, just hold that thought. We have Anthony calling in from Kaduna. Anthony, go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon or good evening.
Yes.
This is Anthony from Kaduna.
Go ahead real quick.
In fact, I'm very interested in this, your topic. I think you've discussed it once or twice with Babajide in the studio. But there is something, it is good prices will go down. But there is something Nigeria is doing that is not corresponding with what other foreign nations do. Government subsidize food for people to be able to eat. But the thing here is, we here in the north, how much do we buy fertilizers? That is the reason why the farmers are crying. We buy them at exorbitant rates. Go to the farms, farm after producing, you now calculate how much does it take us to transport those foodstuffs after harvesting into the town. We have to calculate all this. That is why the farmers are crying. So if things are being imported, it is not just going to affect the farmers, but it is also going to affect the economy, because you are opening the borders, importing things that we can produce. Instead of this money being used to subsidize them, to bring in and produce, use it to subsidize what we use in producing our own farm products.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Thank you so much. A very valid point is actually raised. But because of our time, I would have loved, for us to still chew more on this, but because of our time, we need to move straight to our next conversation. The fight for the 2026 All Progressives Congress APC governorship ticket in Ekiti State took a twist when two aspirants were disqualified by the National Working Committee and WC over their inability to meet the necessary requirements of the party's constitution. That decision left Governor Oyebanji and Atinuke Omolayo cleared to contest the governorship primaries, but Omolayo later stepped down and endorsed the governor leaving the door open for the adoption of the consensus option for the primaries by the national leadership of the APC. As such, APC has affirmed the candidature of Governor Oyebanji as the consensus candidate of the party for the election. At the primary in Ado-Ekiti this Monday, the Senate leader, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, moved the motion, which is seconded by the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Stephen Aribashoyi. The chairman of the Affirmation Congress Committee and Governor of Kogi State, Ahmed Usman Ododo, said the affirmation is a reflection of Governor Oyebanji's giant strides in various sectors which have benefited the people of Ekiti. Now let's share this story with you.
It is on this note, I allow them to present Mr. Oyebanji to the entire people of Ekiti State so that those carrying rumor, those destructive, that it is no longer game as usual. We are laying a template of unity, a template of progress.
Dearest party leaders and members, a moment ago, you elected me as the 2026 governorship candidate of a great party, the APC, emerging through a statewide consensus decision of our members. Your endorsement today is an affirmation of the wishes of thousands of our members who made similar decisions in the wards and local government congresses that held 2 days ago. I deeply appreciate your decision and hereby accept this honor to fly the flag of a great party in the governorship election that comes next year.
I mean, the APC's decision in Ekiti to adopt a consensus approach instead of a competitive primary. Talk to me. Did this come to you as a surprise?
Yeah, because I've been following the trend, it didn't come to me as a surprise. What came as a surprise was the fact that somebody stood up. When I mean someone now, I mean Kayode Ojo, you know, trying to test his skills and test his popularity. And that, to me, makes me to go deeper in knowing what is really going on. Because we're used to, you know, someone having that second time on a platter of gold.
Almost automatically.
So for someone to say, hey, so I would have preferred that, oh, why don't you allow this person to come on stage? But then we understand that the committee believes it wasn't qualified. But we've had the camp of Kayode Ojo even come on TVC to say that, see, I was told that I'm not a member of this party. I've been a lawmaker under this party, and this is my card as a member of this party. That's his own defense. So for me, I believe that the governor has a job to do to see how we can reconcile, you know, Kayode Ojo's camp. Let me be very direct about this, because otherwise, as a governor, it should be easy for you to get your second-term ticket on a platter of gold.
But do you think the governor is scared of competition, like a primary?
The word scared, it may not be the right word, but I feel
He was
in
concerned.
politics, yeah.
He was concerned.
Yes, he was concerned. And the word in politics, sometimes you may not want to take it for granted.
Yeah, I don't want
what is giving this guy any surprise? Any surprise? But there is more to it. Maybe when GKB gives his own submission,
I mean, do you think this goes against internal democracy within the party in the state?
No. Don't forget what happened in 2006 at the democratic elections in the U.S.
Okay.
When Hillary Clinton was virtually forced onto the members of the Democratic Party. Don't forget, it was also the same thing that happened last year when the vice president was also maneuvered to become the party candidate when Biden stepped down. So it's not peculiar. I will give you the examples for you to know there's nothing peculiar. But when the party decides that it will be our own best interests to let the status quo remain going forward. Don't forget that Ekiti is an homogeneous state. They are all brothers. I know there's no fights worse than fights between brothers. Because you cannot use ethnicity or tribalism within the context of Ekiti politics. But But I think what the Kayode Ojo challenge brought on board was the fact that there are some very powerful Ekiti sons and daughters at the federal level who are already planning to come back home and become governor in 4 years. They do not want to come and face a sitting governor. So Kayode Ojo started up a lot of ruckus, if I can use that, across the board. Not only against the governor, whom most people thought was colorless and bland, against the man that had the support of, very first time in Ekiti history, all the former governors lined up behind the governor, basically to ensure that was given a free ride. But despite that, people still came out to challenge the efficacy of his performance. I was in Ekiti about a month or 2 months ago. A lot of my friends work with the governor. Senator Oyebanji and I have been friends for God knows how long. But nobody in his right mind will tell you that the governor has performed beyond expectations. He has performed, granted, but not beyond expectations. And I think that's what he needed to look at now that he has the tickets, to make sure that Ekiti people, because a governor that is performing at a particular level cannot be challenged. People will tell the family of the contender to call their son to order. But for Kayode Ojo to move to that level, forcing the national NWC to come in and find a way to ensure the governor gets a free ride, to me, is a wake-up call to the Oyebanji camp. That whatever you think you've done in the last 3.5 years, you need to do more. I'm not going to say this because I had an accident in Ekiti. That I'm not, for a road that was so bad that I could not even fathom. But that's me. I'm not from Ekiti. That's their problem. I will not go back to their states for until roads are fixed. What I'm making is that any governor that has to go through this in a party where you are in power at the center, where your party is in control of the center, where you are in total control of the state, the total almost total control of the region, and some of your sons are basically high-rise people in the government in Abuja. You should not be going through this. But I understand the problem. Because like I said, I was an eyewitness to what really happened, and I thought, if the man has done so well, these roads should not be like this.
But this consensus approach, do you think it might affect the APC's unity as they go into, ahead of the 2026 governorship election?
So, just building on this, you see, the person of Kayode Ojo, it's important that people also understand how it came about. This was someone who contested against the former governor, that's Kayode Fayemi. This was someone that, before his second term, it wasn't so clear whether he was coming for a second term. He was already a minister then. So the likes of Kayode Ojo were already believing that the ticket was sure for them. And suddenly, Kayode Fayemi came into the picture, and it's as good as the deal is done. So when he got the ticket, the likes of Kayode Ojo would still say, after all, when you finish, we will try and also become governor. And lo and behold, you anointed your own person. So such a person may say that, can I wait for 8 years? Why don't I try to see, like you said, maybe the issue of performance may be an issue, but I was, media is very powerful.
Yeah, sure.
I was already taken aback that, I was already carried along that this guy is not going to have any contention before we saw the likes of Kayode Ojo. So for me, I think that they need to bring him into a room, they need to talk to him, they need to have a conversation now that he has emerged as candidate. Shouldn't be taken for granted. So, because if they had gone into contention, who knows, the party might be more fragmented going into general election. All
right, we have Olajide calling in from Ogbomosho. Olajide, let's talk.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone there.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, and hello. I don't want to take you people back, but I want to talk on the last topic you just discovered. You just talk about
real quick. Yes, real quick.
On the reduction of food items. Anyway, I just think that in the Nigeria of today, people don't like what, because I don't see reason why you are buying a bag of rice at a very low price and people are still complaining. Anyway, to me, I think it's all politics now. You know, the election is going nearer, and you know the people in government, they want to take the people with them. So I think that is the reason why things are coming nearer now. Because I know by the end of the
all right, thank you.
Election.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. So he was trying to take us, but looking at, I need you to just land on your thought, because the unity of the party is very, very important right now. The backers, I mean, the supporters of Kayode Ojo and all, they are not happy about this situation.
So, like I said,
that's the point he was making.
Yes.
They have to be in a room. They have to have a frank talk.
Yes.
It shouldn't be discarded, shouldn't be disregarded. People should not take it for granted that, oh, the ruling party is APC at the federal, the state is at the federal, former governors are behind me. It is about the people that will vote.
Yes.
And this man, if he's to be believed, Kayode Ojo, all he's been saying is that it's for Asiwaju's progressive ideas to have its roots in the state. So I feel such a person should not be disregarded. It should be called into a room. It should be spoken to.
Okay.
If he feels aggrieved about the consensus issue, they should iron it out.
Iron it out. Adesoye calling in from Sule. Let's talk.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Let's talk.
Good evening, sir. Well done. I really appreciate what you people are doing. And I think Bao deserved the person that contend with him, because Bao did not perform very well. I'm from the state. I just came back there yesterday, and the rate there is terrible. Considering the amount of money is received from Central, Lagos State, I mean, the state is supposed to be more better than that. And I'm even ashamed that Lagos State government can come and commission one road on the ring road in the state. Because if our
all right, thank you. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, oh dear, we need to go on this quick break. So in rounding off this conversation, the consensus confirmation, does it reflect the will of the majority of APC members in the state, or just the elites or the political office holders?
The governor has some time to make up all the different factions of the party. And there's enough time towards the election for everybody to come on board. Because it's obvious that the party has made up its mind that they are going to go with the governor.
Okay.
Which I have absolutely nothing against. But so for the people of Ekiti State to now decide whether they want Bao, as they call him, to continue, or they want to go in another direction. So to me, the decision is basically between the Ekiti electorate and their God. For the governor, my advice is what I said earlier. If you thought or you believe you've done enough, you should not be in a position where you are challenged by anybody. Don't forget that the state in the southwest, where the governor did extremely well, he was still eased out of office. Not to talk of a governor when there are some question mark about his claim to achievements.
Okay.
So if I were to be him, I would listen to everybody and then put them within the context of what they can afford. Then move forward as one team.
Then rounding off this conversation, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just going to, so that I don't sound like a broken record. The governor needs to have a tete-a-tete with the aggrieved people. He needs all of them in the general election, in the state election. And so it shouldn't be treated like he's a nobody.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to a third conversation. The agitation for the creation of Anioma State is finally gaining the traction it deserves following the decision of the National Assembly Joint Committee on Constitutional Review to welcome the proposal for an additional state in the southeast. The move has been described as bold and historic, marking a significant step towards achieving justice and balance within Nigeria's federal structure. In a statement, the Director of Media and Publicity for the Anioma State Technical Committee, Tony Organa, noted that the committee's endorsement announced during a two-day retreat in Lagos represents a major milestone in the years of struggle for the Southeast to attain parity with other geopolitical zones. However, the final outcome will ultimately depend on the result of a referendum. All right, gentlemen, GKB, I'll start with you. I mean, after years of agitation, Southeast now gets approval for an additional state. First of all, I need your thoughts on this story, then we go further.
I don't know. The word approval is funny to me. Because I know that constitutionally you must get 24 states out of 36. And all those states must also get 24 members of the House of Assembly to come on board. So all these, of course, are technical details that will take a long time. As a member of another state committee, also looking for creation of a state out of the present Oyo state, I can tell you that it's not going to be easy. As a Nigerian, of course, anything that will bring peace and stability to the polity, I'm for. Whether this particular desire by members of the National Assembly Committee to give another additional state to the Southeast will solve all the problems of the people of the Southeast. It's another thing entirely. But if they think this is the way to go, good luck to them. But like I said, the Nigerian Constitution of 1999 is screwed seriously against the creation of states. Seriously. Because I know that in the last count, there's nothing less than 34 people asking for new states. That means that if you are going to take only one, even if it's based on your own perception of equality and unity, you still have to pass what they call the ultimate test of selling the idea to them, to drop their own agenda and embrace yours. Because people, for example, people looking for Ibadan State now will tell you that Ibadan is the only province that came out of the colonial era that is yet to become a state.
There's that argument.
The people will tell you practically the same thing. Why they must have a state. So if you are only using this as an example, that we want equality, that's why we are giving Anioma the nod. And you think to solve the problem down the line, fine and good. But something we call in journalism, you don't start a problem by every solution brings a new set of problems. And that's why journalists try very hard not to get involved in things that happen. So based on that reality, I see a lot of unseen things that will come on board if this is granted. Fine, like I said, if this will solve the problem of the Southeast, I'm all for it. But I doubt it seriously. Whether creation of one state or 10 will solve the problem. Because automatically, that problem will now lead to another problem, will lead to another problem, lead to another problem. My own, as you know, is basically that we have too many states, as far as I'm concerned.
No, but they say that for balance.
That's what I said.
Exactly, for balance. Southeast has how many states?
5 states.
5 states, so they need to make it.
I don't know where...
But let's talk about the constitutional hurdles. I mean, what the constitutional hurdles, that remain before the proposal of Anioma State.
I think he has listed it just for emphasis. Interestingly, I've been part of this constitution amendment process, and I remember that some of us who were journalists were with this United Nations, UN, is it UNIC or UNODC. Now, they involved some of us, and we're traveling from state to state. And that's when I know that the bottlenecks are quite Herculean. Now, this does not depend on the National Assembly alone. After they've come up with this proposal in the form of a bill, they will go to all the states, maybe through the different regions where they are doing public hearing. Now, they need to get the buy-in of all the state assemblies to make it to 3rd, which is about 24, like he has mentioned, to approve this before they even bring it to when they now
National Assembly itself.
That
they also must get to
they will also debate, they will have to 3rd before taking it to the president for assent. So now, look at the orders you are already imagining now. Someone from Ibadan will say, okay, let's do party as you accept Anioma, include Ibadan. The likes of Benga Daniel are 200% sure that they are going to get the Ijebu state. You even have the late Awujale saying that he has been promised Ijebu State. You have the new Oluvado, August King, you know, also reminding us that the president has promised me state. It does not rest on the president alone.
I'm being told that there's also the Okun State.
Really?
You know, it could be.
So a whole lot of people have interest. So it's not just the president. They shouldn't just make the president look as if he's the one denying them.
Yes.
You ask for the order.
Yes.
So in clear terms, I am of the opinion that is the Southeast seeing Anioma as one of them? Unfortunately, I don't have them in this room to answer that question. Do they see them as, finally, this is one of the states in the Southeast? Because the Delta people... Geographically, the South, you know, is still saying that, okay, it's fine. Are we ready to release them? Because among these Igbo-speaking Deltans, there are some that are saying, no, this thing is driven by Ned and some other politicians. And there are some who are just quiet and we don't know what their quietness means. So if it is, this is my fear, if it is about the political class, I am not for this. If it is about the people, for the people to benefit, for the people to have more accountability, that now we have a state, we can push for our own, and we can have true federalism, because
but
if you don't
they've
have
been
true federalism,
pushing for this for about 70 years. You know,
you know how long okay, let me give you the historical background so we don't waste our time on this. As far back as the 40s, even let's even break it down to the 50s. There's something they call the COR agenda. Basically, for people to create the Cross River or Goja Rivers states. The same thing was applied by the British to create what they now call the Mid-Belt states or region, as it were. My fear is that this will never end.
Solution bringing problem.
Because that's what will appear. Left to me, they have a fantastic case. It's just to solve a particular problem. But that problem will lead to another set of problems. Because the Southeast is virtually the smallest in land terms when it comes to land mass. The entire Southeast can fit into your states. Just like the entire Southwest, minus Lagos, can fit into Niger State. So you can place it on the scale of evolution. There are local governments in Borno that are bigger than the entire Southeast. They are bigger than Ogun State. I know places where you travel in the north that you are going to, you say, I'm going to take a stroll. Will take you 3 hours to the nearest town. But they don't see it in that manner, basically. So, but I agree as a Nigerian that the Southeast may have been changed for one reason or the other. If this will solve the problem down the line, let it be. But you and I know that the Nigerians that we know, your interest is number one, your neighbor's interest is number two, and the man who lives 3 streets away, not your business.
All right, we have Afolabi calling in from Egbeda. Afolabi, let's talk.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, good evening.
Please, I just need a clarification.
Okay.
Because I happen to have traveled along that axis, and I know that the agitation for Anioma State starts from Agbo towards Asaba and all that. And Asaba presently is the capital city of Delta State. So I don't know geographically how is that going to work, you know, for the Southeast. Are they crossing the River Niger to the end and all that? So please give me a clarification on that.
They are not looking at it in geographical terms. They are looking at it in purely political terms. That these people are Igbo speaking, and they will have their own states. That means we have people in the National Assembly who will add 3 more senators, and we have 7 more House of Representatives.
But you have to consider geographical.
1 minister. But you are looking at it geographically. They are looking at it purely in terms of ethnicity.
All right, gentlemen, because of our time, because if we start talking about it, we need to talk about delineation, we need to talk about boundary adjustment. But let's move straight to our final conversation. Now, despite various challenges, the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, PDP, is organizing to salvage itself from perdition. The race for the next PDP national chairman is on and getting hotter. A former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido has officially announced his intention to contest for the position of the PDP national chairman. Lamido revealed this in a verified post on Facebook, citing his readiness to purchase the nomination form to run for the office of the national chairman of the PDP. Lamido, a former Minister of Foreign Affairs and one of the PDP's founding members, said he is confident in his ability to rebuild and strengthen the party. All right, just while the show was going on, we heard this breaking news that Lamido went to the party headquarters, and when he got there, he was locked, under lock and key. But that's for another, but I just needed to put that out there. But for political watchers, we thought that there was a consensus, candidate for the chairmanship position. Talk about Kabiru Tamino Toraki. But with Sule Lamido now throwing his hat in the ring, did you see this coming?
For me, I'm struggling to do a search before this program. Maybe either of you can help me. Whether Sule Lamido was there when Turaki was endorsed, because I saw some governors who are from PDP in the north. I saw some former governors who actually endorsed Turaki as their consensus.
The micro-zoned to the north.
Yes. So, but if Sule Lamido was there, which I'm not sure, he gives us, there could be reason why he wants to come in. Maybe he has had some things to say that I'm not part of this again. For me, I have great respect for Sule Lamido. I believe that Sule Lamido, despite having relationship across board, is going to really stand as the face of opposition. You're going to see Sule Lamido being genuinely concerned to say that, hey, this is about PDP wanting to come back. That's what I believe. However, there is a Wike who is saying that the last time we have not dealt with the issue.
Yes.
This issue go to the North Central. You remember the other man when he was saying that now that you have taken presidential candidates, why don't you bring it to the South? But then, what's his name? Yosha, you understand? That this is the time they should be the chairman. But I feel he's making the problem more complex. So Sule Lamido is welcome, in my view.
All right, gentlemen, we get to talk more on this matter right after this break. And now, Sule Lamido said that he has promised to restore the party's old glory. Do you think he has the political clout to bring back the old glory of the PDP?
Well, between you and I, the PDP's old glory is gone with the old people. So what they need now are new glories.
Nothing can bring it back.
Younger persons with new ideas. The dominant PDP is gone. That one is, no matter what you do now, you cannot get back the PDP of 1999 or 2003. Or even when that man made that boast of ruling for 60 years. That PDP is gone. So many many fish has escaped the basket for them to come back and do that again. Don't forget that there was a time that it's the military generals who are in control of what PDP will do. Most of them are now in their 80s. Most of them are now in wheelchairs. Most of them have lost certain elements. They are not as agile as they were. They are new sheriff in town in most of these states. So those should not come with that. I agree that he can run. I agree he has the face value to be a very good opposition leader. But again, that will be a downside to that. Because the young thugs who are in control of PDP now will not allow anybody to come and snatch their glory. Not at this late hour. That's why the second-time governors have made up their mind. They are going to go with Turaki. Because they think it's a safe bet that they can work with, not somebody that has a mind of his own in political terms. Who can now become
but another thing is, like I said at the start of this, I said Sule Lamido went to the headquarters and it was locked. Now that he could not get his form today, do you think this will create more problems?
Like I told you, the young thugs in PDP do not care. They've learned the lessons from the old men that if somebody is trying to do something on yourself, you just have to show him who is in control. Like I said, the old PDP, somebody will have sent in soldiers by now to keep the place open.
They're not in power.
So they are no longer in power. And then even the resources that they rely on as a party already are dried up.
I mean, who is that person that would have sent soldiers? You know, but okay, just for
I've been able to confirm that Sule Lamido was not part of the consensus.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, one of the things he's saying is that the candidate was imposed on Northwest region, where Turake comes from. So for him, I need to be consulted. You cannot just take a decision for my region and I'm not in the room. So that may be valid. So, but I think this idea of stopping someone, not selling for someone, it is totally against democracy. Let the person come. Let the person talk to party members, whether he can emerge. Nothing disqualifies someone like Sule Lamido, except he's not paying his dues. And if he has accumulated, he should pay. So that's the way. That's my take.
Okay, just they're screaming at me for you, for us to go. But in just one word, the PDP convention is coming up November. Yeah, do you think it's going to hold?
Yeah. I think your state is ready to host PDP.
Oh, okay. All right.
For me, I'm not sure.
You're not sure. All right then. GKB, thank you so much for doing this.
Always a pleasure.
I appreciate you. And Kaidi Ladendi, thank you so much for doing this with us as well. And that's
especially with GKB.
Yeah, it's always like a Monday thing. And that's it on Journalist Hangouts today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangouts on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oresha.